Hey guys, and welcome to Energy in Motion. Kelsey and I are so excited to introduce Robb Torres, who is not only an amazing friend, but a very talented musician. He is the lead singer and guitarist of his band Robbery Inc., and alongside also a composer and a producer. So we are excited to get to know him and just spend some quality time with him today and share his story with you guys.
And his cool studio.
I know.
It's the best vibe in here.
Yeah, it's my home away from home for sure.
Yeah.
The ultimate man cave, right?
Yeah, I like
This is
that.
the ultimate man cave.
That generates
Patriotic.
and generates you income. It's a win-win.
Right.
Can you start by telling us what is the most joyful part of being a creator for you?
I think the moment of just creating something is always the part that, sit back and listen to it over and over again. Like, yeah, this is great. Oh, this is cool. I like that, So that moment of creation is really, I think, what motivates and floors me, But, getting to it is a painful part. Finding it out, pulling it out and figuring out. And then releasing it, it's easy. You just put it out there, But it's always the moment of, writing something or coming up with a really nice, idea or, that for me is what pushes me, So.
Go ahead.
No, you.
Well, I know that since that's the most joyful part, that process beforehand, I imagine that what is it that you face exactly, and how do you overcome that space?
I don't know. I guess from the writing perspective, I hate to say it, but I'm like a lazy writer. Like, there's some writers that'll just come in and like diligently, they'll schedule it in. Okay, I'm gonna write today. I'm gonna work. But for me, I guess I need a catalyst, something to kind of, whether it's for instance, I'll do like some writing for TV film licensing, and I'll get a brief. Hey, we need a song that sounds like this artist, and it's about this. And I might be like, all right, I got some time. Let me try and do it. And then through that process, that might come up with something, But it isn't until I get that brief or that notice to write that I'll try and do something. Or sometimes I'm playing with my drummer, and it's just me and him, and just freely just kind of jamming without the idea of trying to write something, and just kind of just playing. And sometimes an idea will come, and I'll be like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then we'll just kind of flow with it and make it up. So there's one thing, but if nothing is flowing, it could be very just kind of long, just long day. It's like,
What do you do to find that flow, Like, how do you motivate
I just keep,
yourself?
I just keep on it, just kind of keep plowing through it and trying different ideas, different sounds or different, and this is, I guess, specifically with writing music and producing and stuff, or, I'll just try different things and different tools, and just keep doing it, I try not to stress out too much on it, because I just want to let it just kind of, the creativity just kind of find its way to me. So if you put that pressure on it, like, oh my God, I can't figure anything out, then I feel like you block that, So I just kind of toil with it until I find one little melodic thing or piece that's like, it resonates, and it's like, oh, that's it. And then I'll kind of build from that, and, hope that makes sense. But
It does make sense.
It's kind of, I would assume an artist painting is kind of the same thing. You might find a set of colors that work with it, and then he'll grow with those colors and find something. I don't know.
I mean, I assume that it's difficult because you wear so many hats, right? So it's like you're composing and producing, you're also writing, you're also working with other artists, and then alongside you have, Robbery Inc., which sort of requires a whole different set of tools, you know, and now you're working with a group of artists. So how do you move as a group? How do you move through those walls and the fears or the lack of creativity? Do you find that it's different because you have a team, or?
As with regards to the band?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's always, I find like writing by myself or with one other person you know, because I can write, I'm pretty strong with music and melodies and stuff like that. Lyrics might be a little bit more of a challenge for me sometimes, although sometimes they come super fast, which is really crazy. But for the most part, I'll write with one other person, and then I'll bring the song to the band, and then we'll just flush out all the intricate, you know, rhythms and, you know, arrangements and things like that. But usually there's a song already there, you know. Yeah, you know, I used to write with the band before, like, but sometimes it gets kind of messy because everyone's kind of just banging away, and it's hard to like lock into a stream of conscious when something like that's is happening, you know. But I've been in projects where it's been great, you know, where we're just jamming and everyone's just on the same page, and you know. But yeah, so it could work. Sometimes it flows, and sometimes it's a little tricky with the full band, you know.
How did you find music, or find that was your thing?
It definitely found me, for sure. Like, I had no intentions of doing music or anything, you know. I think my earliest recollection of any attraction to the guitar, I mean, I've always loved music. You know, having older brothers, you know, they're just kind of, you know, they're always playing music and stuff. So I used to have air guitar contests when I was a kid, you know, to AC/DC, and I'd always win. And, you know,
says who?
My cousin. He would be like, "Yeah, you're Rob, you win." Yeah. And I guess I would just mime it really well. And you know, I'm like 8 years old or something like that. I don't know. And then when I was 13, I had an uncle that was staying with us who had an acoustic guitar, and I would just open up the case and like strum the guitar like that. But I'd never take it out, or never ask him to play it, or I've never asked to play it or anything like that. You know, I just kind of like peek into it and touch it, and I was like, oh, that's cool, you know. And then I don't know if you remember the Columbia records and tapes, like those you'd buy a bunch of cassettes for like a penny. You guys remember that?
No.
Okay, I've dated myself here.
I feel like I missed out.
It was this thing called Columbia Records and Tapes. Like it was like you'd get a bunch of cassette tapes for a penny, and then you'd have 3 years to.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
it
you'd
was
have
like
3 years to like buy 2 more. You know what I mean?
Yes. And you'd get a free
For a
one
penny?
every month or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Oh, I do. It's paid, and you check
Yes.
them, and then you get
Okay.
stuck into it for a year.
Good,
okay,
good,
okay, I'm on board now.
Then your parents are like, "Who told you to do this?"
Yeah,
So I had a ton of
exactly.
cassettes,
Yes.
you know. I'd always get the free, you know, 30 cassettes, but I'd never buy them, you know. But there was this, you know, they'd send you this catalog, and you can buy other things that weren't cassettes. So I bought this Def Leppard guitar, how to play songs on the guitar, a Def Leppard book. And I didn't have a guitar. So I had this book before the guitar, you know. And it wasn't until like 2 years later that I finally got a guitar. I was working at Burger King, and I got my first check, and the thought, it just came back to me right away, you know. I was like, I'm going to go buy a guitar. And I bought my first guitar, you know. Paid $50 for it. I think my brother threw in another $50 to buy an amp. You know, and you know, it just came like a rush, like whew, it was like, this is what I, you know, again, it wasn't like a thing like, oh, this is what I want to do for a living, because you know, you're not thinking that yet, you know what I mean. It's like, I just want to play, you know. And that was it. Yeah, I just kind of, I'm happy to say that I purchased my first instrument on my own, and I didn't really have any like musicians in the family or anything to, you know, you know, there's a lot of people have like dads that were musicians or things like that. Like, I'm the only one. I think I have some cousins that play instruments, but you know, I don't really know them, and I know them now, but at the time I didn't, you know.
So what about your uncle's guitar? What, was he not a musician?
I guess, but I never played him. I never seen him play. It was this big mysterious thing. It was just there, you know.
It was all just there to entice you to
Yeah.
get your own.
Yeah.
Did you ever find out after you started playing?
I've never heard him play.
Wow.
Yeah. He moved on and kind of, you know, it's been years since I've seen him, but, you know, yeah.
That's such a great story.
Yeah.
I love that story.
I love that through this whole time you've been talking, to me the word that keeps standing out that you use a lot is the word play.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Like, what does it feel like for you to play? Because obviously playing your instrument's one thing, but what I'm feeling from you is that it's when things get tough, you just want to play and have fun and exist in that space with your instrument. Is there...
I mean, it's the ultimate getaway, you know. It's like you just kind of sit down and play music, you know. It's like everything just disappears. Yeah.
Are you able to still do that now that it's your career and you do it a lot? Has it become harder?
You know, obviously you got more responsibilities now and stuff, so that gets, you know, kind of crowds the highway a little bit up there. But yeah, I mean, when I'm playing with the band or up, you know, performing live, you know, I'm still able to sort of, you know, transcend into that space and just be one with the music, you know, for sure.
Is it harder to get there now, or?
I don't know if it's harder or not. I don't think it's ever been harder or easier. It's just kind of, it's a thing that just happens, you know. You know, I think it might be easier.
Yeah.
You know, because now you know what to look for. You know how to kind of get in there. You know how to just, you know, okay, you know, I don't know how to explain to get there, but it's definitely, you know, it's a transcending thing. It's a feeling. It's a, you know, to the point where it's like you can just kind of hear what you're gonna play before you play it. You know, with respects to like improvising or soloing and stuff like that, or just even singing now. Singing is a whole new thing for me, you know. And once I started to sing again, you know, I've always sang like background vocals for other artists and stuff, and singing lead was always like terrifying to me. And I've tried it before, and I totally like killed the idea. I was like, nope, I'm just gonna retreat back here as a supportive role, and, you know. But lately, you know, a few years ago, I just kind of fell into it again, you know. I was writing a song with a friend of mine, and I'm thinking, yeah, she's gonna sing it, you know. And she's like, no, you're gonna sing it. I was like, what? And so I sang it, and that just opened up the floodgates. I'm like, okay, this is the time now. So I've been at it since. And then when I'm on stage singing, like, I lose myself, you know. You kind of get lost into the song and everything. And even now, as singing, it's like, I feel like the lyrics are so important now, you know. Before I was just like, oh, it's all about groove and everything and lyrics, whatever, you know. But now as a singer, I'm actually singing specific lyrics. It's like, okay, then lyrics are really important, you know. So yeah, it's a learning experience still.
Probably nice to find something semi-new within a space that you've been for a while in.
Yeah, well, learning, you know, to me singing is like another instrument. So yeah, learning another instrument and having that same passion as I had when I was playing guitar is really, you know, super motivating, you know. So I'm in here driving in my car singing all the time, you know, doing my exercises and stuff, and really, like, I'm committed to being as great of a singer as I can. Like, I really want to, like, accomplish that, you know. Because, you know, you can have a great band, but if the singer sucks, that's it. It's, you know, you're only going to go so far. So the singer is such an important, you know, role. And, you know, I'm sort of, it's my challenge to get there.
I love that you still find ways to challenge yourself. Like, and I think that's the beauty about art and artists, that there's never like an ending point, you know. At least I've always felt that way about my own artistry. There's never, you know, a landing it's a continuous flight,
Yeah.
you know, and you're ever shape-shifting and learning and redefining yourself as an artist. And
Absolutely, yeah.
so that's cool that you could find something new.
Yeah, and it's exciting, you know. I mean, it's a lot of work still, but it's, you know, it's when you're really into it, it never feels like work, you know.
Yeah.
So, and even with the guitar, it's like I'm, you know, I haven't really, you know, the days of me practicing 8 hours a day on the guitar are sort of long gone, you know. But, you know, and I've been playing, I don't even know how many years, but I still feel like there's so much to discover on the instrument, you know, that I have to practice still.
Do you have a favorite instrument?
Guitar.
I mean, you've got a
Of
lot
my
of
guitars?
beautiful guitars back here. And
okay, so, you know, that changes on a maybe monthly or, you know, semi-annually basis. But this one right here is my sort of current flavor of the day.
It is a sexy looking
it is.
guitar.
He was
Right.
playing it earlier, and it's just...
You know? Yeah, it's just, it sounds amazing. It's super light, and it's, you know, who doesn't like black? Come on, it's all murdered out. You know?
It's matte, too.
Yeah, it's like
not
a
like
sad-
shiny.
Yeah,
No, it
I don't
is
like
sexy.
glossy. I don't like glossy. This one, yeah. So this is the guy. It's a German-made guitar, and so yeah, you know, I got a few here that I like. You know, this one's nice. This one's actually, this is a beautiful guitar. It's actually brand new, but it's all reliced out.
It's
It is a very
cool.
beautiful guitar.
I like it because it's like, it used to be sunburst, but then it's like, someone's like, oh, I want it white. So you
They
can see like the
changed it.
color. So the story with this guitar, this LSL guitars, is every guitar they make, the guy names it. You know, some people, they buy a guitar and they're like, oh, I'm gonna name my own guitar, right? So, no, but he sells it with the name already. Right, and then underneath this piece of wood, this pickup here, he stamps it in the wood, the name of the guitar, right? And he always uses like female names, you know. So he's got this whole book of like names and stuff like that. And then so when I had this guitar custom made for me, he was like, "Well, what's your name gonna be?" I'm like, "Well, I can only put one name," so I put Afi. That's my wife's name.
Aww.
So it's there in sticker format, but it's actually underneath this. It's stamped into the wood. And I guess it's a way, it's like sort of like a serial number too, you know. So if the guitar ever gets, you know, God forbid, stolen or lost, they can just take that pickup off and they'll see that it's stamped in the wood, you know. So, but this guitar is pretty awesome.
It's really
Beautiful.
amazing.
And I love that story.
Yeah, I tell my
Do you want
wife,
me to
"Hey,
put it
I'm
up
gonna-
for you?"
I'm gonna play with you tonight.
I'm going to
She's
play
like
with you
that.
tonight.
I'll take it. Holy shit, this is heavy.
Yeah.
Gotta work out. Hey, so what did you want to be when you were a kid? Before this whole, like, tapping into your uncle's guitar happened.
I think I wanted to be, I don't know, sort of, there was a few things, an astronaut, a spy.
Ooh.
I
That's
think
a
I
good
want to be
one.
a chemist. And do little things, you know?
You're a melody chemist.
Huh?
You're a melody
Yeah.
chemist.
Yeah. What else? That's probably about it, you know? Definitely like a James Bond kind of character would have been cool, you know?
I think every guy dreams of that.
James Bond changed the
Guns,
game.
Yeah.
cars, women.
Yeah. I think I wanted all of those cool gadgets that he had. Those are really interesting things. You know?
Are you a techie?
Yeah.
You have to be, right?
No, not so much now.
No?
I'm not into the gadgets, you know. I mean, I like the convenience of some of the stuff, you know, but I'm not full on committed now. I like my privacy somewhat still.
Yeah.
Whatever
right.
I can still retain from it.
Yeah.
Do you have a life motto that you live by?
No, I don't think so. I think, you know, if I were to try and make one up, it's just really just try and be in the present moment as much as you can and work hard, you know, and be grateful for all the good and bad things that are sort of happen, you know. Yeah.
Well, speaking of bad things, are there And is there anything that happened or didn't happen that hindsight 2020 you look back and you're, you know, happy that it didn't?
Well, let me see. I guess I don't know. That's a tough one. I'll have to think about that one.
Take your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
If it comes up, you let me know. What about if you were going to describe yourself in one word?
Trustworthy. Yeah. I don't know. Has nothing to do with music, but I guess it does, because I think when you're creating with somebody in a collaboration of some sort, you gotta be exposed. You know, you gotta, you know, you can't come in with like, you know, you gotta be raw and exposed, and you have to trust that you know, you're not gonna take advantage of somebody, or they're not gonna take advantage of you, or you know, and that could be a lot of things, you know, but yeah, you know, or you're just a solid person, you know, you're not, there's no agenda behind what you're trying, you know, no hidden agenda of any sort, you know, it's like, this is it, you know, let's do this, let's not, let's, you know, so.
I love that.
I think that's refreshing too to hear.
And you didn't even think for half a second about it. Like, it just, you knew, which is awesome.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of was the first word that came to my mind.
Oh.
Yeah.
What are some of the favorite, like, do you have a favorite project that you've been a part of or that you've created, or maybe some, like, something as far as, like, with Robbery Inc. that you've had the opportunity to do, or do you want to share some of that?
You know, I think Robbery Inc. definitely is a, you know, relatively new project, and, you know, it's been extremely therapeutic for me, you know, to do your own thing and to really, like, you know, I'm a lot of times when you're doing a show with other artists, you're sort of in a confined role, you know. It's like you can't just go out there and like, I'm gonna rip a solo, or I'm gonna play loud, or do this or whatever I want, you know. It's like, no, you're sort of boxed in, which is okay. There's a role that you have to fit, and you have to stay within that. With Robbery Inc., that's all out the window, right? I can do whatever I want, you know. So that project has been very, you know, therapeutic and fulfilling, you know. And I forgot the question.
What's your favorite project?
Oh, yeah, this was my favorite project.
This is it.
We're good.
Yeah, this is it. All right. This is it. You know, just because it allows me to be 100% of what I am as an artist and as a musician and now as a singer too. It's like I'm, you know, I don't have to listen or follow anybody's, you know, being in a box. So that's great, you know, for me. And we're doing like, for instance, performance-wise, we have this festival in Toronto coming up. That's gonna be great. You know, and all these cool little like performances that you know, it's gonna be a nice little spotlight, fun, get to travel a little bit, you know.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
A festival, that's pretty cool because you get to expose yourself to a big group of people.
Yeah. No, it's fun, and it's slowly building, and I'm experiencing that build, you know, and, you know, so yeah. It's definitely my favorite project.
It is your favorite project. Well, I am lucky because I've gotten to see you guys perform a few times, and I'm excited to see you soon at the Viper Room, and we're going to be able to shoot some of that. And seeing you in New York was so much fun. Yeah, and you guys have a lot of energy, and there's a lot of dynamic energy on stage, and it feels very free.
Yeah, and it's there, and it's, you know, I allow the guys to play the way they want to play. The drummer can do his thing, and the keyboard player can do his thing, you know. So we're all, it's a vehicle for us to kind of, you know, there's a song, so I mean, there are some boundaries. You know, okay, this is a song, these are the parts, but, you know, within that, you can freely interpret how you want, So, and you got to have the right people for that. There's got to be on the same chemistry level and stuff, and everyone kind of gets it. So, but it's fun, yeah.
What a cool gift for you to give that to your band as well.
Yeah,
it's just like it creates a culture of freedom and creativity, and I'm sure that'll breed even more.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
And in the audience, you can really feel that. You can feel that sense of play and freedom that you guys have. And I might have not been able to translate that exactly in the experience, but now that I hear you speak and how important it feels like that is to you, I can sense that you've created that in this project. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's true.
Yeah.
Is there any advice that you would give to anyone out there that wants to become a musician or is a musician and is trying to get paid to do that as a career, or anything, any advice you can give?
Man, I think we're, music industry now, I think from what I understand, it's getting harder and harder and harder to survive in it, So you have to diversify within the music business, right? So originally I was just a guitar player, and playing gigs and stuff like that, And for the musicians out there who are doing that, realize you can maybe pay your bills, but to retire on that's probably going to be tough. You know what I mean? So you have to diversify, and I think I'm playing guitar for other people. I'm doing my own gigs, producing, doing composing film stuff. I'm teaching guitar. So maybe I'll start teaching guitar, the singing lessons soon. Who knows? But I think you have to have a lot of irons out there. Irons in the fire, as they say. To make it, to be able to be successful, and then you'll start to grow more in one area, and then maybe that's the area that you kind of have to develop more on, and but just hard work too, and networking is a big aspect of this industry. You have to get out there, you have to see other bands, you have to see other musicians, if or if you just have to kind of get involved in the scene and do it, which is tough because I don't always want to be hanging out every night either, you know what I mean? So it gets tricky.
What about artistically? That same question, but artistically speaking, what can you sort of give to the audience as far as maybe some advice on what it takes artistically to get to that place where you can diversify?
I don't know. You just have to, learn your instrument. Is that what you mean? Like, how do you?
Yeah, music-wise, the art of the creating and the making music.
Right.
In order to diversify, you have to find that space, right? And is there any advice that you can give on that space and the journey to it?
Just look and know how many different avenues are available, and see what sort of, look into it and see, maybe you might like it, you might like teaching guitar, or you might like producing, just kind of figure it out. But, within those avenues, you have to know, for the music producing, like, you got to know how to, like, work the computers and the preamps and setting up microphones, and you have to invest money into buying microphones and the programs and the software. So, it's hard to just kind of, like, stick your toe into it. You almost have to kind of commit a little bit more to really see if that's something that's, for you. If you play an instrument, you gotta know your instrument, because, you could play a few chords and play a few songs, whatever, that's one thing. But if you really know how to play and you can read music and all this stuff, then that might open up more higher profile gigs for you, And then obviously, networking, if you're hanging out with, so-and-so, they know so-and-so, and then that leads you to another high-profile gig of some sort. So, yeah, I don't know. Just kind of have to... It's hard to give advice because I think a lot of people are just different in their own, the way they work and what they're looking for and stuff. But, just keep your radar open and don't block anything out. Just really look at every clue or aspect that comes your way, and look into it or follow through and see if anything resonates with you.
I don't have anything else, do you?
I mean, is there anything that we haven't asked you that you would want to share with us or with with them?
Let's see.
Be anything. Now you're free.
Yeah. I don't know. How'd you guys start this?
We started it at...
Did that question get asked before, by the way?
No, yeah, but it feels different every time somebody asks us because our journey is evolving so quickly in such a beautiful way, in an organic way. So I feel like for me, that every time somebody asks me that question, it's a different response, or I have a different attachment to it because it is ever evolving and growing in a really fast, beautiful way. So, but it did start at the dog park.
It did.
We wanted to have events that featured artists, that built a community to, we feel like it's a really brave thing to be an artist and to follow that path.
It's challenging too in this time that we're in,
Yeah.
But then it's like I look back and it's like Mozart was struggling, and all these Leonardo da Vinci, all these great artists, they were struggling too. So I'm starting to think, it's like, has it always been this way then?
Or maybe we just didn't hear as much about it because now we're so connected and we hear everybody's highs and their lows through social media. So I personally don't know. I feel like we just have access to everybody's struggle.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, and maybe this is incorrect, but I sort of believe that it's inevitable for there to be constant sort of highs and lows as an artist. And that,
absolutely, yeah.
And the change and the evolution definitely was probably happening since those times, because otherwise, how do we create change? There has to be sort of that ride, but...
And that's what keeps you going, because the highs are super,
there's some gnarly drops.
It's gnarly drops for sure. And I've felt them. And,
gnarly drops.
I feel like I'm feeling them a little less. They're not as extreme, just because, I have a good support system. But the highs are still what motivate me and keep me wanting to do this, because... And then there's been a point where I've decided, well, okay, what would I do if I didn't have music? And I honestly couldn't think of anything that I would want to do.
There's this book, I don't know, he's a poet, Roca. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the poet. And there is this book, it's called Letters to a Young Poet. And in the book, he's basically corresponding with a young poet back and forth through letters. And in one of the letters, he asks the young poet who's asking Roca for advice, he says to him, I want you to sit and think, could you do anything else? And would you die inside if you weren't doing what you love to do? And I think ultimately for an artist, that's just the question,
Yeah.
Because that's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do,
That's who you are.
Yeah.
And that's what you're here to do.
I think if you commit 100% to your artistry or what you want to do, you're going to find success at some point, Some people it comes later, some people it comes soon, I feel like I've always achieved things later in life. So maybe I'm on my way.
It seems like you're on your way.
Yeah. Hopefully
It seems like you're already there. It's just different degrees of what we consider to be success,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
because that's also such a subjective word.
Yeah.
Someone
is,
who
yeah.
might watch this interview who is trying to learn how to compose, and for them you're already successful, yet for you you're still striving for a different level of success. So I guess it's all
maybe that's just the
relative.
drive that's in me, to just kind of keep pushing and pushing. It's never good enough, but I don't torture myself where it's like, it's not good enough, it's like I definitely can release things, I can release projects and music and stuff. I'm like, okay, this is done, and move on. I've definitely know some artists who are just, they're so perfectionist, but they don't release anything. They don't put anything out, and I think that's kind of bad. I don't know. I feel like you just have to like put it out, and then you grow from that, and then you make that space for the next thing, You can't hold on to things. You gotta let it go.
It's really brave.
Yeah.
That you do that as an artist, that you have the courage to expose it.
Oh yeah, I think you have to. I mean, I put stuff out that I listen back and I'm like, maybe I could have did that a little better, a little different. But that's you growing. That's evidence of growth right there. Because now you can do something better. You're hearing it better. If you're hearing new ideas, it's like, I could have did that. And so, yeah. You have to. You have to put it out there.
It's the journey, not the destination, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. So.
Well, it's been lovely.
It has been lovely.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to my man cave.
We love
Thank you
it
for
here.
having
I want to
us.
call it different. I don't like man cave.
I was gonna say it doesn't
Maybe
feel
it
like
could be
a
your
man
art
cave.
cave.
Yeah, a little art cave. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us in your space and for sharing yourself with us and your story and just exposing yourself.
Yeah.
We're excited to support you and to get to see you.
Yeah. Awesome.
See you in your element and capture that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really nice.
And
I'm
to
gonna
meet
practice
you.
really hard for it.
Or practice to just show up,
Right.
and we'll play all of us
Yeah.
doing our art.
Yeah.
Collaborating together.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Awesome.
Which is our favorite part. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
but
Thank you.
thank you for joining us, talking to Robb Torres, and definitely check out Robbery Inc.'s really amazing stuff.
Yeah. You can just go to robberyinc.com
Okay.
and it's all there.
All right. Perfect.
And your Instagram?
Well, there's Robb Torres and then Robbery Inc. Band.
All right.
All right. We'll check it out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.